Welcome back, everybody, to another day of American politics, and this one is a big one. You know, Trump promised a golden age of America. And back in middle school, I bought a necklace, and I told my middle school girlfriend, I gave it to her, I presented it to her, and I said, this is pure gold. A bazillion karat gold, I think was my quote. It wasn't, though. It was fool's gold or something like that. I'm thinking this golden age is made of something very similar that Trump is presenting to us. And we have our first real major, kind of have the stock market chaos, but now a big underlying systemic metric of the chaos that Trump is causing. And I want to break that down for you and then get to Trump's reaction, which just can't get more insane. And then, interestingly, people who are sort of his own supporters expressing their discontent and turning against him over his excuses here. Fascinating stuff. So we'll get to those reactions. But first, here's what everyone's talking about today. I want you to look at this visual on screen. It's broken up into 12 quarters, 12 fiscal quarters. 11 of them Biden was in power. Sleepy Joe. One of them, Trump was in power. Can you guess? Here, I'll chop off the dates. Can you guess which one Trump was in power for? If you guess this one, you're correct. The one GDP contraction. Now, all of this is very serious, and this means real pain in people's lives. As always, we try, even with this sort of content, to have as much fun as possible, but it's the real deal. We experienced in Q1, January through March, a GDP contraction, negative GDP growth, shrinkage even. They're calling it Trump's shrinkage, at least I've heard. Here is Fox News or Fox Business reporting on this, and Maria Bartiromo breaks down the news, as Aaron Rupar puts it, as if she's announcing the JFK assassination.
Welcome back. We have breaking news right now. We're getting the GDP in for the first quarter, and it is a contraction, negative 0.3%. This is the first contraction since the first quarter of 2022. Markets this morning have reversed. The Dow Industrials right now down.
For 3 years, we had GDP growth after getting out of the pandemic economic disturbance, and then just an election made all of the difference, as we begged people to understand. Before going further, getting Trump's reaction and his fans, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show. It's easy. It's free. Millions of people watch every week who aren't subscribed. Join us. Here's Trump saying, you'll never guess who Trump's going to blame for this. You'll never guess.
Guess what? It grows the economy.
This issue, I put this issue as number one issue. And they don't want us to do what we're supposed to do, and I don't think that can be. I hope the Supreme Court is going to fully understand what's going on. We have to get the criminals out of our country, and that's the basis under which we won the election. Core GDP, and this is, you
What'd you say?
basis under which we won the election. Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today. And I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is the quarterly numbers. And we came in, and I was very against everything that Biden.
So you might think that after hearing Trump say that's Biden, it's Biden's fault, I would start rattling off stats about the economy before and how the expectations were. I'm not going to do that. You've heard it before. I'm going to let Trump disprove what he just said. So let's listen to him do that.
The basis under which we won the election. Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today. And I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is the quarterly numbers. And we came in, and I was very against everything that Biden was doing in terms of the economy, destroying our country in so many ways. Not only at the border was more obvious. But we took over his mess in so many different ways. Core GDP, removing distortions from imports, inventories, and government spending, was up plus 3% when you add it we had numbers that despite what we were handed, we turned them around and we were...
Did you get that? Did you get that? Peter Navarro did a similar thing. They go, if you remove, they're talking about imports, they're talking about these different disturbances. If you remove the impact of Trump's policies, then we see generally a resilient economy. Are you kidding? Yeah. If you remove what he listed there is tariff stuff and government disruption stuff. The cuts to programs and funding, and then the tariff disruptions. He said if you remove those, then we had strong GDP growth. But I thought you inherited a nightmare. Those are the things you've done so far. So yeah, if we remove you, then we had something good. Wow. And he doesn't even notice that's what he's saying. He also posted, and this gets to some of his fans responding. He said, this is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. I didn't take over until January 20th. Tariffs will soon start kicking in, and companies are starting to move into the United States. Record numbers, our country will boom, but we have to get rid of the Biden overhang. I miss Biden's hanging. This will take a while. Has nothing to do with tariffs, only that he is left with bad numbers. But when the boom begins, it will be like no other. Be patient. And if you're familiar with Trump's True Social posts, normally all of the responses are like this. Yes, we love you. You're amazing. Oh, I wish you were my dad. And not this time. There are people who even identify themselves as having voted for Trump in his comments losing hit at him over this. One person says, translation, Donald's tanking the stock market with his import taxes. I miss Joe Biden and his strong American economy. Someone else said, oh, F no, you cannot blame this on Biden's fault, you something. Then this person, very interestingly, identifies themselves as having voted for Trump, saying, no, it's yours. It's down due to tariffs. It was soaring under Biden. Your tariffs have scared us all. No one's hiring. It stopped cold. We have a disaster. I've lost retirement money. It was soaring under Biden. I voted for you. I regret it. I'm a Republican. I'll never vote Republican again. Midterms will see Democrats destroy Republicans by 50 to 60 or more seats, and it's your fault. You need to be impeached for this. Again, normally you scroll and it's just memes of Trump's abs, okay, or Trump riding a surfboard, or Nancy Pelosi in jail. Like, that's normally his comment section, and this is what we're getting. What, are you seriously trying to blame Biden for the absolute historic crash of the stock market that just happened to coincide with you introducing your idiotic tariffs? Even your supporters aren't stupid enough to believe that. Sarah, it was a coincidence. He introduced his tariffs and then everything got worse because of Biden. How effing stupid do you think we are? Someone says. This is in direct relation to your tariffs. Then a little fan says, keep the faith, patriots. Then someone who's a former Trump supporter says, but you said the stock market was soaring because of the anticipation you were going to win the election. Laughy face, laughy face, laughy face, laughy face, laughy emoticon, laughy emoticon, laughy emoticon, which followed up the beginning of the message, which had laughy emoticon, 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 laughy emoticon. Okay, you get it. Then someone else said, from the envy of the world to the clown economy within 100 days. And this is actually not just anecdotal. Jaden found this. Newsweek reports 1 in 4 Donald Trump voters regret voting for him or are disappointed by his early performance back as president, a new poll suggests. Just one poll? Maybe it's a fake poll, fake news.
Fake news.
But according to this, you have, of 100 registered voters, 1 in 9 of people who voted for him are regretting doing so. Another 16% do not regret voting for him yet, but were disappointed. Among those who identify as moderates, 47 said they regret voting for Trump or are disappointed by his early performance, while 43% of Trump voters who do not identify as MAGA said the same. So I've seen some people in the media saying that the idea of Trump supporter regret is a myth, is a fiction. I just don't think that's backed up by the data. If they mean hardcore Trump supporters still stand by him, yeah, there's like 30 to 35 to 40% of the country who literally Trump could go to their house and stab them in the stomach and say, my name is Donald Trump, I'm stabbing you in the stomach for no reason, and I hate you, and they would still support him. Okay, but the people in between who make the difference in elections actually are experiencing some regret. Someone else named Parker Butler pointed out that Trump, just during his own term, has said fundamentally contradictory statements on this. Look at the two highlighted portions. On January 29th, so Trump had been president then for 9 days. On January 29th, he said, this is the Trump stock market. Okay? This is the Trump stock market. One more time. This is the Trump stock market.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that.
Laughy emoticon, laughy emoticon, laughy emoticon. And then on April 30th, he says, this is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. So in the matter of a few months, he went from this is the Trump stock market to this is Biden's stock market, not Trump's. We laugh so that we don't rip our own hair out, because this is absolutely just deceitful, dishonest. And to the point that some of the former, I'm not saying all the people that I read from were former Trump supporters there, like someone's username being Caroline's Cooties with some other words in between. I don't think that person was necessarily ever a Trump supporter, but you heard some people identify themselves as a Trump supporter. And even some of them are going, really? Are we that, or you think we're that dumb? And that's been my question for a long time to Trump supporters. Trump's dishonesty is insulting to the truth, and it's insulting to people, because I think that being dishonest is insulting, unless it's on something cute, like, oh, you look good when you don't. But which Jaden constantly does that. I'm like, how do I feel like a little bloated today? He's like, no, you look great. All right, thanks. Don't admit that to me. I believe you. But dishonesty about important things is really insulting. But not on a personal level to me, because Trump knows some people will read through his BS, and we do, and then we kind of move on. But I just don't get how his own supporters don't feel insulted that right back to back he could go, this is my stock market, then this is Biden's stock market, and not think that they are going to notice the difference. It's all still up on Truth Social. And remember, back when much more modest decreases in the stock market were happening under Biden-Harris, Trump would post things like Trump cash versus Kamala crash. The stock market has fared much worse under Trump than presidents dating back a very long time is about to show you. And he doesn't seem to describe that as a Trump crash. Apparently, it's still Joe Biden's fault. Now, here is Harry Enten discussing the collapse in support for Trump. And we're going to do a little bit of a tangent, because I need to defend Harry Enten right here, because Frank Luntz comes on and just starts insulting him, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Among the groups that Trump gained most amongst in 2024, he's seen the biggest declines in 2025, and that is no bueno, no matter how you put it, Laura Coates. Back to you, my dear friend.
Harry, thank you so much, my friend. Joining me now, pollster and communication strategist Frank Luntz. Frank, good to see you. I want to get your reaction to what we've heard from Harry. Why is Trump shedding support among independents and also younger voters?
Well, I first want to say to Harry, come on, you're not on Broadway. Look, I used to do exactly what you just did maybe 10 years ago. But this stuff is very serious now. So, oh my God, is not helpful as a pollster in providing information. It may get people to pay attention for a minute or two, but it doesn't communicate what needs to be said. But Harry's correct.
I stand with Harry Enten. Frank, you're boring. In this world that we're in, the fact that someone like Harry Enten can take the presentation of data, if you're not familiar with him, he'll be very sort of exaggerated in his articulation and sort of his mannerisms, but not in his telling of the data points. And because of that, it makes it more easy to sit and watch as he breaks down numbers that sometimes are boring. And that's good. It's similar to why I'm really exacerbated whenever I talk and my body moves around a lot and my face does all sorts of things, is because I think it's important that we provide important information to people in a way that is interesting and fun to consume. And when I hear Frank Luntz talk most of the time, whereas Harry Enten actually makes it interesting, but he still handles it with tact and accuracy. So if Harry Enten watches the show or anyone around him, get this clip to him, please. Don't be influenced by that, because outlets like CNN are hemorrhaging viewership because a lot of times just, even if they're covering outrageous things, just people who don't provide any personality, it gets sort of boring. So thank you, Harry Enten, for doing that. And Frank Luntz is completely ridiculous there. And why would he call him out live on air? I hate that completely. But if you're concerned about the economy, about this GDP contraction, about where we head, remember, this is the impact of a strong economy. And Trump's right that most of the economic metrics he has nothing to do with. A lot of that underlying strength he was talking about was handed to him. But still, in like a few months, he was able to take that and wreck it. If you're concerned about that and what's to come, what that could foreshadow, don't worry. Your showers might be strong.
These tankless natural gas hot water heaters that are so critical to affordable, long, hot showers that we all love so much. That factory was going to be shut down in Georgia.
And this comes after Aaron Ruvar said these dudes are obsessed with taking endless scalding showers. Obviously, yesterday at Trump's first 100 days speech, he said this.
Free and tear. I need a lot of water. I need everything I can get. I don't need to be under a shower trying to get water to come out of that damn thing. So we've opened up the shower heads, the faucets, the toilets.
Would you please mind, dear sir, Mr. President, focusing first on repairing the economy that you broke, and then second, you can get to opening the toilets and the showers and the faucets? And what are you doing throughout the day? They're getting so dirty. So dirty, you need gushing, pouring water. Again, this doesn't really make that big of a difference. Just get a better thingamajig. It'll be fine. I mentioned that Peter Navarro used the same argument of if you look at the underlying, if you exclude everything we've done, the economy actually is pretty all right.
I got to say just one thing about today's news. That's the best negative print I have ever seen in my life.
This is insane. What? I just want to say one thing I think this is the best bad news ever.
I got to say just one thing about today's news. That's the best negative print I have ever seen in my life. And the markets need to look beneath the surface of that. We had a 22% increase in domestic investment. That is off the charts when you strip out inventories and the negative effects of the surge in imports because of the tariffs. You had 3% growth. So we really like...
Wait. Okay, stop. Stop there, please. Please, Peter. Peter, please stop. Now, you agree that Trump said this is Biden's economy. And you're saying if we strip out the tariffs, he actually uses the word. He said inventory and imports. So because of the tariffs, he said it. Then we have strong GDP growth otherwise. And Trump saying it's Biden's economy. And you're saying if we exclude the tariffs, it's good. How did they not hear what they're saying? If you exclude what Trump did, it's good. And we're accusing that of being Biden's. I think Biden would say, all right, yeah, accuse me of that. My goodness. Share your thoughts in the comments. Get the bonus show by clicking the join button below.